Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to Grandma Lily English. The evening is warm, the garden is peaceful, and my lemonade is cold and refreshing. Come in, find a comfortable place, and spend a little time with us before we begin. If you're learning English with us, don't forget to subscribe and become part of our Grandma Lily family. Every week we learn English through beautiful stories, useful vocabulary, and gentle life lessons. Now, let's begin. Noah, my dear, you've been unusually quiet tonight. Not the kind of quiet that comes from sadness, the kind that comes from thinking, what's on your mind?
Hi, Grandma. Hi, our lovely friends. You always notice, Grandma. I've been thinking about something my teacher said today. One sentence has stayed with me all afternoon. She said, "The words you use become the way you think." I keep wondering, can words really be that powerful? Aren't they just words?
Just words? Oh, Noah. If only that were true. Come a little closer. Tonight I'd like to tell you about an old man who spent his entire life collecting something that most people throw away without even noticing. The old man who collected words. Long ago, in a quiet village beside a peaceful forest, there lived an old man named Elior. He wasn't wealthy, he wasn't famous, but he had one extraordinary habit. Whenever he heard a word that healed someone, encouraged someone, or quietly changed a person's life, he carefully wrote it down inside a small leather notebook, year after year. That notebook grew heavier, not because of the paper, but because every word carried a memory. It wasn't a dictionary. It was a collection of moments where words had truly mattered.
What kind of words did he collect?
Let me tell you about 3 of them. The first word was sorry. When Elior was a young man, he had a terrible argument with his brother. The reason was small, a borrowed tool, a careless comment, but neither of them wanted to say, "I'm sorry." 2 years passed, 2 years without speaking. Then, one cold winter evening, there was a knock at Elior's door. His brother stood there, looked into his eyes, and quietly said, "I'm sorry." Just 2 words, yet they ended 2 years of silence. That night, Elior wrote, "Sorry, a small word. That opens the heaviest doors."
Grandma, what does the heaviest doors mean? There wasn't an actual door, was there?
Wonderful question. That's called a metaphor. The door wasn't made of wood. It was the distance between 2 hearts. Sometimes pride builds very heavy doors, but the right word can still open them. The second word Elior collected was enough. One summer afternoon, he heard a tired little boy tell his mother, "I don't think I did well today." His mother smiled gently, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "You tried your best for today. That's enough." The little boy smiled. His shoulders relaxed. He could finally breathe again. That evening, Elior wrote, "Enough," the word that gives tired hearts permission to rest.
I don't think I've ever said that word to myself.
Most of us haven't, my dear, and perhaps we should. The final word came near the end of Elior's life. His granddaughter was leaving for university. As she hugged him goodbye, she whispered, "You taught me everything, Grandpa." His hands trembled. His eyes filled with tears. He opened his notebook one last time. And beside that memory, he wrote only one word, everything. Later that evening, A neighbor asked him, "Was that your favorite word?" Elior smiled and quietly replied, "I've collected words for 60 years, but that one I didn't need to write down to remember forever." Dear friends, tonight we learned about reported speech. We use reported speech when we tell someone what another person said without repeating the exact sentence. For example, someone says, "I am sorry." Later we say, "He said that he was sorry." Or, a teacher says, "You can do it." Later we tell a friend, "My teacher said that I could do it." Notice how the tense moves back one step. Reported speech allows words to travel from one moment into another. Exactly what Elior collected his whole life.
So I could say, my teacher said that the words I use shape the way I think.
Exactly, Noah. And now, I think you finally understand what she meant. My dear, Elior never collected difficult words. He never searched for clever words. He collected words that changed people, words that healed, words that forgave, words that gave someone permission to keep going. Your teacher was right. Words don't simply describe what we think. Little by little, they become what we believe. Someone who keeps saying, "I can't," will eventually believe it. But someone who says, "Not yet," leaves room for hope. Words aren't just words. They're quiet architects building the house you will live in for the rest of your life. So choose them with kindness, especially the words you say to yourself.
I think I understand now. The words I say to myself matter just as much as the words others say to me. Maybe I'll start collecting good words too. One word, one lesson, one day at a time.
I think that's a beautiful idea. Perhaps that's exactly what we're doing here every single week. Collecting words, sharing stories, and quietly building better hearts, one story at a time. And that, dear friends, is our story for tonight. This week, listen carefully to the words people give you, and even more carefully to the words you give yourself, because sometimes the right word, spoken at the right moment, can change a life forever. If tonight's story touched your heart, please subscribe, share it with someone learning English, and join us again next week. Until then, goodbye and take your time.
Good night, everyone, and remember, the most powerful words are often the quietest ones. Choose them wisely, take your time.